Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to a bonus episode of Let's Play Shantae. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some extra and unused content here in the game. And it all starts here on the title screen of Shantae. On the title screen, we can go ahead and enter a cheat code to get to a whole different menu. So, to enter the said cheat code, you need to press the following buttons. Left 2 times, right 8 times, left 6 times, right 2 times, left 7 times, right 6 times, and left 8 times. If you do this correctly, you'll be brought to this screen here. This is a brand new screen that we have not seen at this point in our adventure throughout Shantae. It's a very interesting looking screen, some copyright material flashing up on the top, but we can see we have 2 options here. Start normal game or start debug game. I'm going to select the first option here of start normal game. Doing so, we're brought to the file select screen where we can pick any of our save files. I'm going to go ahead and actually start a brand new game here, and by doing so, we'll be thrown into the intro sequence just like we would normally. Shantae's house is about ready to be attacked by the pirates. She's going to get upset as to what's going on and needs to go warn Scuttletown as to what's going to happen. But once we're out of this sequence, we're going to see things play out as they should normally when you start a brand new game here in Shantae. You won't have any items, you won't have yourself any gems. Everything is as it should be here. As the name implies, start normal game means that you're just playing the game as normal, and nothing will be different compared to just playing the game without entering this said cheat code. If we go ahead and input the same sequence of buttons here once again on the title screen, we'll be brought back to the same menu as before, and now let's select the other option here, Start Debug Game. Selecting this option will be brought to the file select screen, just like before, so I'll go ahead and start a brand new game here. And now once we select our file, we are brought to this screen. This here is a map select screen. We can select any map here in Shantae. So let's go ahead and start with the first option here, I-0. Selecting this option will bring us to the intro sequence of Shantae. Just like before, we're going to have the pirates attack our home, get upset, and need to go warn the people of Scuttletown. But once Shantae leaves her house and we gain control of our main character here, we'll see things are going to be a little bit different compared to before. So if we take a look down below at our HUD, we can see we have 500 gems and we have 10 small vials. If we pause the game, we can see that we have a lot of stuff here in our inventory. We have 10 of every single consumable items that we can buy from the shops, 99 warp squids, all of Shantae's upgrades, all the stones, and all of the talismans. If we press the B button to go to our dance menu, we can see we have all the dances here already unlocked here in the game, which will also include the GBA Enhanced exclusive dance, the Tinkerbat transformation. And we can test this by transforming into the Tinkerbat now. So let's go ahead and press down, up, and up to see that yes, we indeed have the GBA exclusive transformation unlocked. So this is what I was referring to when we were trying to get the Tinkerbat in the actual Let's Play itself, where if you're only playing Shantae on a Game Boy Color, you're going to need to hack in the said transformation. Playing a debug game will unlock everything by default, which will include this GBA Enhanced exclusive transformation. So this is how you would get this transformation if you weren't playing on a Game Boy Advance. Let's say you don't want to play through this section. You don't want to do anything here in the intro and you want to play a completely different map. Well, just go ahead, pause the game, and then hit the select button. Doing so, you'll be brought back to the map select screen. We have a lot of different areas here we can go ahead and choose from, and to be honest, this is a very confusing map screen as everything is abbreviated, and the abbreviations don't really make much sense in some regards. So, on screen now is a list of where every single option here in the map select screen will take you in Shantae. If you want to go ahead and read every single one of these said locations, I recommend pausing the video at specific times here as there is a lot here for us to choose from in this map select screen. There are some notable exceptions here for certain areas in the game that you cannot go to, whether it be certain cutscenes in the game or specifically the boss fight in Cackle Mound. You cannot select the fight against Wheel Beast compared to every single other boss here in Shantae. It's the one exclusion in the menu. I'm not exactly sure why it's excluded, but for the most part, you can access every single area along with every single event here via this map select screen. But now let's go ahead and select one of these said options here, because there's a lot of them here we can go ahead and interact with, but let's just start here with L1. This will take us to Dribble Fountain. So entering Dribble Fountain, we're here. Shantae and Risky are meeting face to face. She's about ready to leave, so see you later, Risky. We'll catch up with you at some later point, as I actually want to go ahead and explore the said labyrinth, but I don't want to walk around the normal way. Instead, I'm going to press select an A to enter free fly mode. This will allow us to fly anywhere we want, including out of bounds, and now we can go in any single portion here of the said labyrinth. And if we do so, we're going to see things look a little weird, as there are some areas that may not have their objects fully loaded. Like this room, for example, there's supposed to be platforms moving around in the said room, and they're not really here, so that's a little odd. If you want to exit the free fly movement, just press the select button and you'll fly back down onto the ground with normal gravity. Entering the room here on our left, normally we can see the platforms have been restored, so there can be some weird oddities when it comes to certain sections based on the said loading. So let's just go ahead and explore more of the area in free fly mode here. So let's make our way over to where the boss room is actually located. So let's fly up to the top here, head into the said loading zone, and now let's enter the free fly movement once again. And right here, if we go any further right, we'll enter the boss's lair. But if we do this by going out of bounds, yeah, things don't look right. This is a lot of weird glitchy artifacts. So we're a little too far out of boundaries, and if we try to land at this area, well, simply put, the game will just crash. We can't do anything else at this point. The game is now hard locked. So if you ever get too far out of bounds and you start seeing glitchy artifacts like this, fly back in bounds before you decide to take over normal gravity. Because if you try to walk around in the said area, the game does not agree with you and you'll just lock up your system. The only way to fix this now is to turn off the Game Boy and turn it back on. Back in the map select screen, let's go ahead and select one of the other locations here in Shantae. So let's go ahead and make our way over to X4 here. And trying to select this, nothing happens at all. It doesn't matter what button you try to press here on your system, A, B, start, select, nothing will select X4. If we go over to X3 and then press the A button, we'll see that we are loaded into Eco Wasteland here. So X4 is the only coordinate on the map select screen that has no data associated to it. If you try and select X4, it does not have any location data, so it just won't work whatsoever. So yeah, that area unfortunately is a bust, but let's go ahead and load back up the map select screen here, and let's make our way down to another one of the selections here. Let's go over to M2, as that is our set minigames. M2 is a very interesting one because it takes us to the dance parlor minigame. But things aren't as they're supposed to be. So this dancing game is a little more glitched out compared to any of the other selections here on the map selection screen. We can see that we're just constantly getting goods by just standing still, and that the buttons on the right side, they're all red gems. They're not actually any of the buttons here on the Game Boy Color. So this is an endless minigame. You cannot leave this whatsoever, as these infinite notes, well, as the name implies, they are infinite. They will continuously scroll until you turn the system off. If you press any of the other face buttons here and try to actually play this game normally, you won't do anything. You'll keep on getting misses. So not pressing a single button is how you would win if this game had an ending. You cannot pause in the dancing minigame here in Shantae, meaning you can't make it back to the map select screen. So if you enter this minigame via the debug mode, the only way you're going to leave is to turn off your Game Boy Color, unfortunately. Back here at the map select screen, let's go ahead and select another map here to load into in Shantae. Preferably one that's not going to infinitely softlock us into an area because we can't pause. Let's go over to EL1 here, as this would put us right outside of Scuttletown, and if we go ahead and press up, we'll enter through the Scuttletown gates here, entering our first major area. Now, let's go ahead and make our way back to the map select screen, and let's select one of the other town locations here. So let's go back down to the EL section, and this time let's select EL3, as this will take us to Oasis Town. But as we can see, loading into the area, there's a locked gate on Oasis Town's entry point, so we can't even get inside of the said town. This is the case with the other towns here in Shantae if you're playing via the debug game, so we can't get into Oasis Town, the Zombie Caravan, and Bandit Town. This is simply just because we are technically playing on a file that is brand new. We haven't really done any story progression at this point, but we have all these said story items along with other upgrades hacked into our said file. This even happens if you load a file that has unlocked Oasis Town or the other towns in question, so via the debug menu, you cannot enter these said towns as they will be locked. So that's a little unfortunate. So, can't really do anything here. Let's make our way out of here. We can, on the other hand, make our way over to Oasis Town via a different method. So if we go over to N3, which will load the town itself, we are here in said Oasis Town. But if we decide to leave through the gates, we immediately get locked back out. So we're not allowed in there at all. You can get in there via the debug menu by selecting it on the map, but you can't enter Oasis Town by going through the gates. It's a weird quirk of the debug menu, so do keep this one in mind. So now with that, let's go ahead and select, let's go down near the bottom of the list and fight one of the bosses here again. So let's say we fight BL1 here, which will throw us into the boss arena for Dribble Fountain. Now we can go ahead and rematch the Tentacle Monster boss fight here. Although, don't know how I'm interacting with the said boss fight. Take that, Risky, you get out of here. So that's a weird quirk with the debug menu selecting a map. You can sometimes gain control of Shantae in the actual cutscenes itself, which definitely not really the intended thing, that just kind of happens. But we can fight this guy if we want to. Not really a thing I'm going to do right now, so let's just go ahead and leave. At the map selection screen, if we take a look at all the different bosses here in the game, we can see there's a number missing. We have B1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you're doing your math, that means we are missing one boss fight in Shantae. And that's kind of an oddity. The one boss fight that we're missing here on the screen is the one located in Cackle Mound against Wheel Beast. This boss fight is entirely missing from the map selection screen. Not exactly sure why. It's really the only omission here on the map selection screen. We can get to every other area in the game, but for some reason we can't get to that said boss arena and just fight that boss from here. It is kind of a weird exclusion, but you could make your way through the entirety of the Cackle Mound labyrinth, and using the free fly movement, you can just fly straight to the boss fight itself, so I guess it's not that big of an issue, but it does kind of seem like a weird thing to exclude. So at this point, let's go ahead and select ourselves C1 here, as this gives you kind of an interesting outcome. This puts you in the middle of the Mimic steam engine cutscene you get in the very beginning of the game once you beat the first boss fight. And this one gets kind of weird after you're done watching the said cutscene with Mimic and head into Scuttle Town to finish out the remainder of the said cutscene. I don't remember Scuttle Town looking like this. This is very different, to say the least. So, for whatever reason, if you select C1 and make your way through all the dialogue here to finish out the cutscene, it doesn't properly finish things and doesn't load things correctly at all, so you got this mess of a screen. And yes, because of this, I don't recommend selecting this option if you want to watch this cutscene again for whatever reason. Select the other option on the said debug menu to get you here. Just select I3 and watch through the cutscene via that mode, because that will actually work in comparison to this C1 option, which just glitches out halfway through. You also can't pause in the said state, so just like a lot of the other menus here so far on the debug map screen, this will put you in an impossible to leave state, and the only way now we can fix things is to turn off our system. Back here on the map select screen, let's go ahead and make our way down to the M section here once again, but instead of playing a minigame, let's do something different. Let's pick one of the more oddball ones here, M exclamation point. Selecting this option is actually kind of a weird one because depending on the button you hit, will give you different results. So let's go ahead and hit the B button, and by doing this, we'll be entered into sound test mode of the game. Hitting B will allow you to listen to any song of the game. And they're all listed here via different names. So we have Underground for an underground theme, Shop for the shop theme, Puzzle for puzzle theme. Although I don't remember that really being a puzzle, that sounded more like a victory jingle than anything else. Night 2 for one of the night themes, and so on and so forth. So if you ever wanted to just listen to the music here in Shantae, using this set cheat code will allow you to just listen to the entire game's OST in one convenient yet a little confusing menu, as a lot of these names aren't really the most accurate. Back on the map select screen, let's go ahead and select the M exclamation point option again, this time in the A button, to go to a different menu here. This is the sound effect menu, and here we can listen to all the different sound effects in the game. Riveting. So yeah, as implied, we can listen to any of the sound effects here, which even includes some unused sound effects in the game. And this is very interesting for that reason, because this is not a thing you usually see in video games. Normally, this kind of thing is combined with the sound test and just kind of labeled as music and sounds, but here they kind of separate it into more of a cheat code style thing in the map select screen. But the fact that there are some unused sound effects left in the game's code that you can listen to here is a nice little touch, as not many games keep the unused sound effects in the said sound test mode. But now that we covered the quote-unquote sound test mode here in Shantae, we've looked at basically every single option here on the map select screen that I wanted to go ahead and take a look at here in this video. There is one more thing I want to mention when it comes to the said debug menu map, and that is if you select an option here, you can go ahead and press the start button and then select to head back into the menu like we've done before. But if you hit the select button, you can go ahead and pause your game in this state, which is kind of a weird thing. And if we go ahead and press the start button to leave, we're back on the map we selected, but now our bottom HUD is glitched out. So we're trying to load the debug menu map option at the same time as playing the game, so our HUD is a little more confusing. Now we have MA500B gems. A lot of gems, and our item we have selected is Shantae 10, my favorite item. Oh, now we have MA501B gems. So yeah, as you can imagine here, you can play things in a very weird way. There's no reason why you would do this, but it is a thing that you can do. This, I feel, is kind of a weird glitch slash oddity, so to say, when it comes to the map select screen, because this is definitely not an intentional thing. But with that, that's everything to cover with the said debug menu. So the last option we'll actually pick here on the said map select screen will be the M @ sign, as this will take you right back to the title screen here of the game. So overall, the debug menu here is a very interesting menu to mess around with. It will help you unlock the Tinkerbat transformation if you're not playing a version of Shantae that can gain access to the Game Boy Advance content. So if you're playing, say, the 3DS Virtual Console release or the original Game Boy Color release without a Game Boy Advance, this is how you unlock Tinkerbat without the use of something like a Game Genie. But with that, as we can see, there's a lot more you can also do with debug menu. Fly around freely, pick pretty much every single map in the game, and in my first playthrough, I actually needed to utilize the debug menu to even beat Shantae, as when I was playing this game originally on the 3DS Virtual Console release, my game crashed near the very end of the adventure and deleted my save file. So, in order for me to finish the game, I loaded the game up with the debug menu, and then selected the maps that I needed to finish my adventure, beating Shantae in the process. Kind of a weirder way to beat the said game, but using debug menu, you can play any of the sections in the said game you want at your own pace. The only downside is that you don't start with all the hearts, you only have 3 hearts, so you want more of those set heart holders in the game, you're still going to need to collect those, but every single other major upgrade and item you'll need is available from the very beginning of your adventure. So, Debug Menu is a very powerful tool here in Shantae, and use it to freely explore the game to see what it fully has to offer, if you're more curious about some of the nuances here. But with that, that's everything we're going to be covering in this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.